The secret origin of Mysterio. Even Kingpin knows little about the criminal in the smoky helmet, but Spider-Man's about to learn more than he bargained for. So this is Ultimate Spider-Man, issue number 16 from Marvel Comics. That solicitation is kind of a lie. Spider-Man doesn't learn anything about what's going on, but we do get the secret origin of Mysterio. So we start off in a cemetery where she's standing over her husband's grave, and then we cut to her as a kid, where her dad's talking to her. And her dad's basically trying to console her after her mom has died. And we get a little bit of sprinkling throughout this, but we find out that there's a secret behind her dad. Her dad has some kind of secret that he's hiding from her. We see his eyes turning green at one moment. And then we cut to the future, or I guess the future from here, the past in the current storyline, where she has a date with Harry, and basically they're just kind of flirting with each other. They admit that they love each other. And then she gets a phone call. Phone call tells Gwen that they found her dad. And then that's when we cut to Gwen Stacy, and she's at a meeting with a bunch of Mysterios. And it turns out that she is one of them. So here there is no like singular Mysterio. It's a group. And the group pretty much take turns switching off between who becomes Mysterio. So one will be Mysterio for like a couple of weeks, and then the next person will be Mysterio for a couple of weeks, and it keeps going, and it just basically circles around. So each one keeps taking turns becoming Mysterio. And I like the little plot that they have with them here. So basically in the Ultimate Universe, there's the Maker, and the Maker created this universe by changing timelines. And we even get a little bit later on here where Gwen receives a book from her husband for Christmas. It's their first Christmas together as husband and wife. And he gets her this book that's called The World That Is and the World That Was by Dr. Jericho Drum. Harry just thinks it's just nothing but, some kind of conspiracy book. And Gwen explains that that's not what this is. Do you know what this book is about? This book suggests that the world has two timelines. The one we're currently living in and the one that we are supposed to be living in, which is what's going on with the Ultimate Universe. The Ultimate Universe is the world that they currently live in, and the world they're supposed to be living in is the 616. And because of Mysterio and their ability with illusions and stuff, they're able to see through the illusion of the Maker. So they're able to pierce the fact that this is a false timeline and that the true timeline is the 616. And so what they want to do is they want to basically spread that information out to the world, but they have to do it in a way that doesn't come back to harm them. And I thought that was kind of cool, the fact that Mysterio's illusions abilities are so great that they're able to pierce through the Maker's illusion of this fake world. I mean, speaking as a reader, I like the Ultimate Verse better, at least for Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man's Ultimate Verse better than the 616. So I really don't want them to fix the world and go back to the 616. I want the Ultimate universe to keep going because I prefer this version of Peter Parker married to MJ with kids and, their happy family rather than what we get with the 616. Eventually, Gwen is able to become a sister of the Mysterio group. And it turns out that her dad was a member and they found his remains and stuff like that. I do think it's kind of funny, though, that Gwen is Mysterio. I mean, she's one of Mysterios. Basically, like I said before, there's a group of Mysterios, but only one of them is ever a Mysterio at a time. But I do think it's funny because it reminds me of that really terrible storyline where it turns out that Gwen didn't die and Green Goblin was having sex with her. But then it turns out that it was actually not Gwen, but Mysterio messing with Green Goblin. So we get that here, technically, because Gwen is married to Green Goblin. So Green Goblin is technically having sex with both Gwen and Mysterio. So yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. I'm going to be skipping a bunch of pages, but we get a moment where Gwen is worried about Harry because he hasn't shown up. He's disappeared for months. And the current Mysterio shows up and says, I found your husband. He's been kidnapped by Kraven along with his sidekick, Peter Parker. Kraven is going to be hunting them in the Savage Land. He doesn't know that the Mole Man is working with us, but Kraven does mean to kill your husband and Peter. And Gwen says, well, the amulet passes from you to me in 2 days. Do I have that long? And then Mysterio says, I'll try to talk to our friend and buy us some time. So it makes sense why Mysterio showed up to talk to Kraven before Kraven dumped Harry and Peter into the Savage Land. like they were having that big dinner, is because the current Mysterio was trying to buy time for the amulet to pass over to Gwen so that Gwen can come up with a way to save her husband. This Mysterio tells Gwen that you're being followed, and Gwen discovers that Otto has basically set a protective surveillance around her. This is the thing that Harry talked about a couple issues back, where if one of them goes missing, the other one will be secretly followed and protected without their knowledge. And because of that, Gwen decides to fire Otto because she doesn't want Otto sneaking around and discovering that she's Mysterio. I have a feeling that this is going to come back to bite her in the ass. But we have the moment where Kraven kills Harry. And I called this. I knew that Harry wasn't going to be dead, especially since Mysterio was involved. But we get to see how it actually happens. This is a moment where Peter has beaten the crap out of Kraven, and Harry's egging him on to kill him, like finish him off. He knows about our family. If we don't kill him now, he's going to come after us and our family later. And that's when Mysterio shows up, grabs Harry, and silences him. And Kraven shoots at Peter, misses, hit Harry Osborn in the head, and kills him. Turns out that this is all an illusion. So Kraven believes that Harry is dead. Peter believes that Harry is dead. Meanwhile, Harry and Mysterio are actually watching this from the sidelines. And so we have everything playing up like usual. And then we have a moment where Mysterio says that you came between me and mine. So long, comrade. And she grabs a gun and she shoots Kraven in the head. So Kraven is dead. Mysterio kills Kraven and reveals herself to Harry. And then we cut back to where the issue started, where they're standing over the grave and Harry shows up and basically says, hey, I guess we'll figure out what we're going to do next. This issue was freaking fantastic. I loved it. I love this series. This series is so freaking good. There has yet to be an issue that has been terrible. Even this series' weakest issue is still like a 7 or 8 out of 10. And that's like its weakest. Other than that, it's basically like just... I'm one of those people, it's very hard to give anything a 10 out of 10. I've only ever given one thing ever a 10 out of 10. But this is like up there. Like this is, if not a 10 out of 10, this series is like a 9.9. It is freaking fantastic. I love it. I love everything that they're doing. The artwork is great. The characters, like everything from Peter Parker to MJ to their kids. Like the kids is the one that surprised me the most because children characters in fiction, it's very hard to make them likable, at least for me. Like I like kids in real life, but I find kids in media to just be really annoying. But the kids here are fantastic. Like I love Richard. I love Mayday. I love the portrayal of like Harry here. Like he comes across very likable, whereas I've always kind of didn't care for Harry too much. Gwen, it's interesting what they're doing with Gwen here. I like the whole Mysterio thing about how it's not just a single person, but it's a group, which now explains why like others called out Mysterio for like, why are you shorter than the last Mysterio? And then the excuse was, I'm Mysterio's daughter. Mysterio's dead or something like that. Like I'm taking over. But it's really because it's different people taking the suits at different times. So the characters obviously are going to be changing different heights. Which then just begs the question of why doesn't Mysterio just use an illusion to make their height not change? But whatever. I like how like there's little seedlings there for Mysterio being Gwen and stuff throughout this entire issue. Like everything here is just fantastic. Everything is set up. Everything pays off really well. I thought Hickman kind of made a mistake earlier in this issue where he revealed that Gwen is actually Mysterio, like pretty early in the issue. And as I was reading this, I was like, oh man, you should have like saved that for the end. That would have been a good like cliffhanger to reveal that Mysterio is actually Gwen. But then no, like as I continued reading, I was like, oh, okay, now I understand why you did that reveal. And now you're doing more reveals with their goals and things like that. So this is fantastic. I freaking love this series. I highly recommend anyone who has not read this series yet, pick it up. You won't be disappointed, especially if you're a Spider-Man fan. It's been freaking phenomenal. Yeah, I love this. I love Gwen being Mysterio. I love the whole Mysterio being a group of people. I love their goal where, like, because of their powers over illusion and stuff, they can pierce through the illusion that the Maker has and realize that they're in a false universe. Like they're in a false reality. They're in a timeline that shouldn't exist. Like that's pretty cool. But yeah, I highly enjoyed this and I highly recommend it. So there you go, Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 16 from Marvel. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.